A parody is a work created to imitate, make fun of, or comment on an original work, its subject, author, style, or some other target, by means of satiric or ironic imitation. As the literary theorist Linda Hutcheon puts it, parody is imitation, not always at the expense of the parodied text. Another critic, Simon Dendeth, defines parody as any cultural practice which provides a relatively polemical elusive imitation of another cultural production or practice. Parody may be found in art or culture, including literature, music, although parody in music has an earlier, somewhat different meaning than for other art forms, animation, gaming, and film. The writer and critic John Gross observes in his Oxford Book of Parodies, that parody seems to flourish on territory somewhere between pastiche, a composition in another artist's manner, without satirical intent, and burlesque, which fools around with the material of high literature and adapts it to low ends. Meanwhile, the Encyclopedia of Dennis Diderot distinguishes between the parody and the burlesque. A good parody is a fine amusement, capable of amusing and instructing the most sensible and polished minds. The burlesque is a miserable buffoonery which can only please the populace. Historically, when a formula grows tired, as in the case of the moralistic melodramas in the 1910s, it retains value only as a parody, as demonstrated by the Buster Keaton shorts that mocked the genre. According to Aristotle, Poetics, 2:5, Hegemon of Thasos was the inventor of a kind of parody. By slightly altering the wording in well-known poems he transformed the sublime into the ridiculous. In ancient Greek literature, a parodia was a narrative poem imitating the style and prosody of epics but treating light, satirical or mock-heroic subjects. Indeed, the components of the Greek word are parabeside, counter, against an oide song. Thus, the original Greek word parodia has sometimes been taken to mean counter-song, an imitation that is set against the original. The Oxford English Dictionary, for example, defines parody as imitation turned as to produce a ridiculous effect. Because par also has the non-antagonistic meaning of beside, there is nothing in parodia to necessitate the inclusion of a concept of ridicule. Old comedy contained parody. Even the gods could be made fun of. The Frogs portrays the hero-turned-god Heracles as a glutton and the god of drama Dionysus as cowardly and unintelligent. The traditional trip to the underworld story is parodied as Dionysus dresses as Heracles to go to the underworld, in an attempt to bring back a poet to save Athens. Roman writers explained parody as an imitation of one poet by another for humorous effect. In French neoclassical literature, parody was also a type of poem where one work imitates the style of another to produce a humorous effect. The ancient Greeks created satyr plays which parodied tragic plays, often with performers dressed like satyrs.